Alrighty, so this is gonna be wrong end number 5. Basically, what you gotta do is you gotta have more Shige's darkening to 88%. I'm at the part, not 88%. I have it up to 88%. We have to get it to 100. So I'm at the part where we have to go to the locker room, but we can't because there's darkness. I figured this is a good way to get his meter 100%. So we're gonna try and we're gonna fail. So I'm gonna leave a candle. So dark here. We should try to light a light with us, don't you think? Should I try lighting the alcohol lamp? So no, what we're gonna do is we're not gonna light the lamp. We're gonna leave a candle. Leaving a candle increases your darkening. So that's what we're gonna do. Hey, doesn't something seem off to you? Also, the fact is, like, this part, nothing happens to when you just leave a candle, except that you get darkening every time you just leave a candle. Hey, doesn't something seem off to you? It does feel like we've been walking for an awfully long time. Did this building always had such an expensive hallway? No, I'm pretty sure something screwy is going on here. With all the distance we've covered, we should be outside the school twice over by now. So maybe we turned a corner without realizing it. It's quite dark after all. There's no way we could have, not in a narrow hall like this. So if you're that concerned, shouldn't we just turn back? Yes, let's. And so we turned around and saw nothing but an endless corridor vanishing into inky blackness. It was basically a mirror image of the trek we've been making these past few minutes. No, this can't be right. Did we really walk so far that we couldn't even see a light of our candle in the distance? That's not possible, is it? Calm down, Mitsuki. It's probably just blew out. It's a straight shot. Either way, all we can do is keep heading back the way we came. How can you be so cold, Morishige? For all you know, we could be Freaking out about it isn't going to help matters. Let's just keep going. Morishige's right. Times like these call for cold, rational decisions. It's the only way. But we're gonna get the darkening. We're gonna hit darkening 100%! Ooh, wake up! Mayu? No, it's a much younger voice. Who is it? Hey, mister, wake up. Where am I? Fuck you, Sachiko. Good morning, mister. This is my playroom. The young girl thrust her face so close to mine that her nose is practically touched. She was smiling from ear to ear. She looked to be in about 1st or 2nd grade with long black hair and a clean, cute, almost dainty countenance. After my brief impression, however, I quickly turned my head away. She was uncomfortably close, literally breathing down my neck, and her breath. It smelled of blood, of death and decay and fatty oils and smoke. It smelled of chemicals and antiseptic. It was a very, very unpleasant potpourri? Potpourri? Who are you? I'm so happy!
た人はみんなまず驚いて泣き出すのに。
You didn't get all indignant and say, "What's going on here?" Normally when people wake up here, they get scared and start freaking out. The little girl began backing away from me, her shoulders still shaking in a soundless chuckle. I knew exactly what she meant. It would be entirely reasonable to ask what's going on here. Even at a glance, I could tell this room was not good. The floors and walls were caked in blood as thick as mud. Buckets of body parts were strewn all about, and eviscerated corpses were stacked everywhere. And that was just what I could see at a glance. As for me, I was bound to a chair against one of the walls, not with ropes, but with chains.
私の名前は篠崎幸子。
My name is Sachiko Shinozaki.
俺をどうするつもりだ。殺すのか。
What do you plan to do with me? Are you going to kill me?
どうしようかな。これから考える。先にこれで遊ぶから。
What a question. I'm just not sure. I'll decide later. I've got something else to play with first. Just as she said the word else, she brought her hand down onto the nearby table into a slapping motion and made contact with someone. It was a girl bound by her hands and feet, and Sachiko's slap was aimed squarely at her thigh. Her uniform suggested that she was in high school, and she was wearing glasses, giving her a rather stern, serious appearance. I could hear the sound of chattering teeth and see her chest rising and falling rapidly. Oops.
名前はね、浦部恵美さん。
Her name is Emi Urabe. At the sound of her own name being read aloud from her student name ID name tag, the girl let out a single whimper. Stop! Please! Please stop!
ダメ。お姉ちゃんは今からとびきり痛いことをされます。
No way! You're about to be put through incredible pain!
惨めったらしい顔や命乞いをして見せてくださいね。
So make sure you squirm like the wretch you are and beg me to spare your life, okay?
やだ。そうなんだよね。だって私何も。
No, you're joking, right? I didn't do anything!
うるさい。気が散る。
Shut the hell up! You're distracting me! Sachiko swung her hand downward onto Emi's face, and I realized only after impact that there was a scalpel in it. A sloppy, uncontrolled incision was made from the corner of her mouth all the way to her ear. Just kidding.
ごめんね、痛かった？本気じゃないからまだあんまり痛がらないで。これからもっと痛くなるのよ。
I'm sorry. Did that hurt? I wasn't seriously trying to kill you or anything, so don't let it hurt too much. The real pain is just beginning after all. Sachiko produced a pair of durable sewing scissors from a rollaway shelf nearby and began expertly cutting all the way up Emi's school uniform. Then she set down the scissors and produced a full-sized farming sickle in their place. It looked well-worn, with soil and rust sticking liberally to the blade. After brandishing it for a moment, Sachiko positioned it over Emi's abdomen. No, please! This is a dream! This has to be a dream!
目が覚めるかどうか。自分で確かめろ。
I can't say if you're awake or if you're dreaming, but you're about to find out. Sachiko slowly shifted her focus from Emi's abdomen to the area just below her ribcage. Emi's body began spasming, her spinal muscles contracting in a decidedly unnatural manner. Gasps and screams mixed with sounds of vomit and incontinence.
いい顔になってきたね。できるじゃないか。それだよ、それ。
So, what a perfect facial expression. See, I knew you could do it. Without even wiping the drool from her mouth, Sachiko tossed the sickle aside and simply began digging into Emi's wounds with her bare hands. The sound of tiny hands manipulating internal organs was disgustingly similar to that of a sopping wet rag squelching spilled oatmeal off of a hardwood floor. The noises escaping Emi's mouth didn't even sound like they were coming from a human being anymore. I could see her face in profile now, and despite the gastric juices and vomit and blood and contortions of unbearable agony, it wasn't a disagreeable sight. This was a girl not far from death. She was trying her hardest to fight it, but the facts were the facts. She was going to die, and she knew it. Against this fate, she was completely and utterly helpless, and she was doomed already in both body and soul. This hapless struggle had a certain sensual quality to it. No, it was even purer than that. This was a truly beautiful sight.
本来に
She pretty? Sachiko, who had at this point buried her head in Emi's exposed organs, withdrew it and directed this question at me, her mouth still full of flesh. Everything from her nose down was dyed red and dripping with blood.
本当にいい顔になってきたじゃないか。
Isn't her face just precious? She swallowed whatever she'd been out of Emi's insides, then turned to face me. Not just face me, actually, but stare at me, stare into me with unwavering, unblinking eyes. I suddenly became aware of my own erratic breathing. It wasn't fear, though. It was an almost animalistic reaction. It was a coarse and primal, and I unconsciously thrust my chest forward towards Emi. I think I may have been smiling.
どうだ。お前もやってみるかい？
So how about it? Do you want to play with her too? Don't be ridiculous. It's like she's making fun of me. She shouldn't even have to ask. Ugh. Well, that was something. God, Shig is just messed. Wrong end number 5, people.
振り返ったらどうなるって言うんだ。
Okay, so this is I'm kind of going out of order from this because I read wrong end 6 and 7. They need special things to unlock them, so I'm gonna put those at the end of this video, 6 and 7. So this is gonna be wrong end number 8. I figured this would be the next easiest run. But anyway, at the point where Shig towards the end, obviously he reads a note that says don't look behind you, and he goes, what if I do? We're gonna look behind us and see what's there. Where's Shige?
Yamamoto-san. Fukuroi-kun wa?
Yamamoto, where's Fukuroi?
わからない。さっきまで一緒にいたけど、なんか斧持ってるやつに追いかけられて逃げてるうちに。
So, I don't know. He was with me until a short while ago. But then we found ourselves running from a man with an axe. I think we got separated.
そうか。心配だな。無事だといいが。あ、君も怪我をしているじゃないか。
So, I see. That's rather worrisome. I hope she's all right. How about you? You're not hurt, are you?
私は平気。この血は私のじゃないから。
I'm fine. This isn't my blood.
それよりやっぱりやばいよこの学校。さっきのやつが きっとここに迷い込んだ人たちを殺してるんだ。
So, but this school is even more dangerous than I thought. Whoever that man is, I'm certainly he's been going around killing anyone who gets lost in here.
僕はそいつを見てないから何とも言えないな。
I haven't encountered him personally, so I couldn't say.
私、怖いよ。一人じゃ、絶対私も。
I'm scared. If I'm by myself, he'll find me.
よかったら一緒に来るかい？
Shall I accompany you then?
いいの？
Are you sure?
まあ構わないよ。
Yeah, I don't mind.
ありがとう。
Thank you! Yamamoto overcame with relief, suddenly grabbed a hold of me.
ちょっと
Hey!
ごめんね。森重くんは鈴本さんだっけ？彼女いるんだったね。
I'm sorry, you have a girlfriend already, right? Suzumoto, I think you said her name was.
そういうんじゃない。なんていうか妹みたいなものだよ。
We're not like that. She's like a little sister to me, I guess.
森重くんみたいなお兄さんがいたら退屈しないだろうな。
I'll bet life would be a whole lot less boring if I had a big brother like you.
そうかな。
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
どっちかっていうと退屈な人間だと思われることが多いんだけどな。
People always seem to regard me
同世
as...
代からは
People always seem to regard me as a boring human being, especially people of this generation.
暗いな。山本さん。
It's really gotten dark in here. Yamamoto?
ちょっと待って。明かりつけるから。
Hang on a sec, I got a light.
なんだこの廊下。やけに。そうだ。本館でもこんな場所が。
So, what an unnerving hallway. It's much darker than the others. But then, I suppose there was one just like it in the main building.
暗くて寒いね。
So, it's not just dark, but cold too.
なあ、引き返そう。これ以上は危険だと思う。
Yeah, we should head back. I think we may be in danger if we keep going.
でも、もう来た道がないよ。
But the way back is gone.
しまった。そうだ、山本さん。あのアルコールランプを。
Damn, Yamamoto, do you still have that alcohol lamp?
あれはなくしちゃった。でも、ろうそくならあるから。
Sorry, that didn't quite make it, but I've got plenty of candles.
そんなものじゃ。
Candles won't be enough.
あそこに部屋が見えるよ。
Well, look, there's a room.
行ってみよう、森重くん。
Let's see what's inside, okay?
待て、危険かもしれないだろう。様子を。
Wait, it might not be safe. We should proceed with the utmost... Gah! Oh.
すまない。怪我は。
Okay. Sorry, I didn't hurt you, did I?
平気だよ。
You bitch! I'm just fine.
誤解しないでくれよ。俺は、いや、僕は。
Please don't misunderstand. I didn't mean to.
それより少しお話ししない？
Never mind that. Let's say we have a little chat.
何を言って。
What do you...
私のことは嫌い？しげに。
Don't you like me, Shig? Oh my.
お前、誰だ。
What are you?
誰だと思う？しげに。
Who do you think I am, Shig?
やめろ。
Cut it out! Don't call me that! I tried to pick myself off the floor, but she grabbed me tightly by the wrists.
話せ。なんで俺のことを、マユのことを知ってるんだ。
Let me go! How do you know about me? About Mayu? I struggled with my might, and in the process, I inadvertently slapped Yamamoto, or whoever this was, square in the face.
痛い。女の子に乱暴するの？しげに。
How dare you raise your hand to a girl, Shig? Fuck you! I knew it! The skin from Yamamoto's face began peeling back, and a little girl's face burst from within, covered in blood and muscle tissue. I don't even know how it's possible, but black hair is bursting from Yamamoto's suit next, spreading across the ground like a black wing, unfurling. Immediately, a musty smell began permeating the air, and I became aware of all the body parts around me. Hands, feet, entrails, and a vertible lake of blood.
お前はいつからマイオどうした
Were you always her? What did you do to Mayu?
どうしたんだろうね。しげに。よく泣くスズメだったよ。
Now, what did I do to her? I remember she wouldn't shut up. She kept chirping shig, shig, shig like a Japanese sparrow. A Suzume, if you will.
今は物静かな。自分の目で確かめるといい。
But she's not chirping anymore. Want to see for yourself?
まさかそんなバカな
So, no, that can't be!
私はお前を見ていたよ。面白い。見込みのあるやつだってね。
I've been watching you, you know. I like you. You've got promise.
たまにお前みたいなのがいる。この学校と相性のいい変わり種がね。
People like you do show up from time to time. Freaks of nature who have a real affinity for this place.
何なんだお前は一体俺をどうするつもりなんだ
What are you trying to say? What the hell are you planning to do with me?
怯えているのかい
You scared?
無理もない。だけど分かってるよ。
That's understandable, but the thing is, I get you.
お前の恐れの対象は生きた人間の死ではない。
You're not afraid of people
自分自身
dying.
の死。
You're just afraid of you dying.
離せ俺は
So, let go of me! I...
話してやろうとも歩いていけ。あの扉へ。校舎が案内してくれる。
Sure, I'll let you go. And when I do, I want you to walk over to that door. Let the school guide your way.
お前が探しているあの子のところへ。
It's where you'll find the person you've been looking for all this time.
今の私は
I barely heard that. Shit, don't look at me. Not the way I am now.
マユ
楽しみだね。お前の反応が。つまらなかったらすぐ殺しちゃうからね。
I'm quite looking forward to your reaction. But if it's boring, I'll kill you. True to her word, the girl let go of my wrists. Her body then began sinking into the floor little by little until there was nothing left of it. It was as if she were lying along the shore as the tide came in and slowly rose above her body, or maybe the school just swallowed her up. The only things that remained of her were Yamamoto's school uniform and that face mask made from her skin.
これは夢かそれとも俺はもうとっくに頭がおかしくなっているのか
Is this a dream or...
いやだとしても
So, is this a dream? Or have I just completely lost it at this point? Either way.
俺はマユに会わなくてはならない
I need to see Mayu.
あいつは生きているそうに決まっているマユ今行くぞ
She's alive. She has to be. Mayu, I'm coming for you. Yeah. Do 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 do. Okay, so this is wrong end number 8. So now I'm going to go back and get 6 and 7. Alrighty, so the next wrong ending, which is wrong ending 6 and 7. Basically, after talking with Chihaya and Nari, the two 7th graders, or middle schoolers, or whatever, that are here, we're playing as Shig right now, and the earthquake is just about to happen, and there are extra scenes now. So, but initially you have to get the true ending first. So as long as you have a save point roughly at this location, you'll be able to see the extra scenes coming up. Something hit me hard right in the back of the head. I began descending face first towards the ground. It felt like I was falling in slow motion, though. The ground just kept coming, yet for some reason I couldn't even put my hands out to break the fall. It was like I was being slowly swept towards a wall by some giant wave. My glasses fell from my face, and I distinctly remember watching them roll around. It was like, Mitsuki panicked screams brought me back to reality. Suddenly I remember what was happening. She and I had pursued Emmy from the pool back into the school building and found her quickly enough. Unfortunately, she was already dead. Her head had been smashed open on the ground like a roasted chestnut. Who could have done such a thing, we thought? And like it or not, it seemed I'd now learned the answer. Mitsuki was inconsolable, understandably, but after some doing, I'd finally managed to drag her away from Urabi's remains. We'd just begun walking back towards the school entranceway when, well, I got struck from behind and found myself careening towards the floor. I was losing focus, but I could still make out the pool of blood spilling from my head, accompanied by a sound reminiscent of a leaky faucet. And unfortunately, I could also make out the vague form of a man standing over me, raising whatever he hit me with into the air for another strike. I instinctively shielded my head with my right arm, and felt every nerve ending and every muscle in it twist unnaturally as the blunt object came down. Fukurai, no! Please! Stop! Stop! Mitsuki's tomboyish face looked uncharacteristically wrinkled and puffy, with tears streaming down both cheeks. Or maybe it was just my blurry vision. Mitsuki! Mitsuki's sobbing screams and frantic footsteps began receding into the distance. This made me feel a little better. At least she'd be safe, I thought. It took only moments for my vision to go completely dark, but then I had taken a hammer to the head. Still considering what I thought I'd just been through, I'd expected to be unconscious by now, but I wasn't. I could feel every part of my body clearly. I kind of wished I couldn't, considering, but I was pretty sure I could still move, at least for the moment, so I decided to do my part. With my uncrushed left arm, I reached out blindly, felt my attacker's leg as he began turning to pursue Mitsuki, and grabbed on tight. I won't let you go after Mitsuki. Mitsuki was important to me. Aw. That was sad. Was I still alive? Couldn't even count the number of broken bones I'd suffer, and I could still feel every one of them. My head, my arms, my ribs, every part of me was throbbing with agony. No one part of my body hurt more than another. Every injury was unbearable.
驚いたな。この状態で生きてるのか。
I must say I'm impressed to still be alive in your condition. Someone was next to me, down on one knee, head right at my ear, from the sound of it. A young man, probably around my age.
聞こえてるか。何があった？
Can you hear me? What happened? I couldn't see a thing at this point, not even vague shapes, but the voice addressing me sounded somehow familiar. I felt this was someone I could trust. Be careful. Save the others.
みんな。
The others? Yamamoto?
Ah, 頼まれた。ちゃんと面倒見てやるよ。
Alright, I can do that. I'll be certain to look out for her. Even without seeing his face, I could tell he was sneering when he said this. Then in the next instant, I felt something hot bore into my abdomen.
お前はもう楽になれ。もっとも、ここじゃ死んでも痛みは消えないらしいけどな。
It's time for you to rest in peace, though they say even when you die, your pain never goes away here.
どうでもいいだろ。お前はもう死ぬ。
What does it matter? You're going to die anyway. Mitsuki, run. Who was that? Which way? Alright, so for the wrong endings, we would have to go to the second floor, both times. So we're gonna go to the second floor. This is cool how it kind of like goes on. Oh. Stay back, please! What's up? What's up, dude? His expression never once changed. He was like some kind of twisted life-size doll with one face. No doubt the face he'd be wearing when he killed me. The last face I'd ever see. What could I do? What options did I have? That's it! The alcohol lamp! So from what I read, neither of these both of these lead to the wrong ending. So number 6, we're gonna light the lamp. Fire! I have to light the wick! With adrenaline's help, I managed to get the matchbox out of my bag, with drew mats and even unsuccessfully strike it a few times, all in an instant. Finally, I got a flame, but it wasn't fast enough. The expressionless giant's hammer struck me full force in my right knee. I had nothing left to lose at this point, so I just threw the alcohol lamp haphazardly. It struck the expressionless man's raised hammer and shattered. A sizable amount of methanol spilled from the shards, all over his face and chest, and there, thankfully, it burst right into flame. The man's entire torso was immediately engulfed. The hammer fell from his hand. I did it! Burn slowly, you bastard!
さあ見ろ、エミとフクロイの仇だ。この人殺し。
Serves you right, this is for Emmy and Fukuroi, you goddamn murderer!
何を？来ないで。早く死んでよ。
What the? Stay away and just die already! His flaming hand grabbed my wrist. I could feel... Okay... I could feel my skin instantly blistering, and then mere moments later my whole uniform went up. Ouch. No. Let go of me! His grip was so firm it felt like it was going to break my arm.
化学繊維に織り交ぜられた制服は嫌な匂いの煙を立てながら燃え溶け、皮膚にへばりついて
What is your uniform made out of?
燃え続ける。
The fumes my uniform was giving off couldn't be good for me. I could feel every fiber melting into my skin. Okay, you are not wearing cloth. Then it was charring me to the bone.
炎の下が首筋をなめ、耳を焦がし、髪の毛にまで燃え移り始めた。
Tongues of flame were licking my neck. I could feel my ears burning. I think it even reached my hair.
私は必死で首を振るが、火は消えてくれない。
It just wouldn't go out. No matter how much I shook my head, it just kept climbing higher and higher.
私が暴れるのに気に食わなかったのか。男のもう片方の手がひたりと顔に張り付き。
And then I felt something on my face. His other hand? It was dry and cracked. Was this what I got for resisting so much?
一瞬、目の前が真っ白になった。
My vision quickly brightened. Everything was tinted white now.
後頭部が床板に叩きつけられたらしい。
It felt like the back of my head had just struck the floor.
尾骨が潰れたのがはっきりとわかる。
And I was fairly certain he just broke my nose, crushed it flat.
大量の鼻血が飛び散ったけど、もちろんそんなもので火は消えてはくれない。
I could feel blood flying everywhere. Not enough to douse the fire, though, of course. If blood can even do that.
そして私には朦朧としていられるような時間が。
I didn't have the luxury of slipping away into unconsciousness. There was no time for that.
男の手が落ちていたハンマーを拾い、その焼けた鉄の金槌の部分。
Before I had a chance, the expressionless man had picked up his fallen hammer and begun pressing the red-hot steel into my face. Ow.
今までと比べ物にならない灼熱感。顔面を襲った。
Delicious. The sound it made was like dropping a raw egg into a preheated frying pan, and the searing pain I felt was far worse than anything I had yet experienced.
一瞬で視野の半分が真っ暗になった。
Half of my field of vision instantly went out like a spent light bulb.
見えない。
I could no longer see out of one eye at all.
焼き潰されたせいだ。
Probably because it had been completely burned out of its socket.
顔の皮がただれ、ブツブツと泡立つのがわかる。
At this point, I could feel my skin bubbling.
肉に焦げる。
And then the oddest thing happened. I caught a scent of burning flesh in the air through my battered and flattened nose, and it smelled good.
男は私以上に炎に包まれながら、眉一つ動かさず、ハンマーを持ち上げた。
The giant man, still completely expressionless, despite being even more engulfed in flames than I was, readied his hammer for another strike.
ベリベリと私の顔の皮を剥がしながら、
The skin on my face was melting away.
男は何の
but he showed no sympathy, no motion of any kind. He just raised that hammer as if he were on a singular mission.
私の顔をめがけて振り下ろ
He was aiming right between my eyes, and then he swung down with all his might. And there goes your face. Wrong ending number 6. Alright, so 7 is basically the other option.